What's happening, Internet? This is the latest and greatest version of my SMG. If you've been subscribed to my channel long enough, or you've looked back through my old videos far enough, then maybe you'll at least somewhat recognize it from this video. Yeah, that's going on, wow, 5 years ago now. Like a lot of my old creations, I took that one apart, just totally dismantled it because I needed the parts for other projects. And as with a lot of old projects, I just really regretted doing it. So, wow, it's been close to a year ago now. I decided I was not only going to rebuild my old SMG, but maybe just greatly, vastly improve it. I mean, just make it better than ever before. And in the past several months now, I've been working on this. It is more accurately shaped, more detailed than ever before. So maybe from the previous video you'll recognize same working trigger as before, the working bolt, and then now I have the new or redesigned magazine. It's more proportionately correct. And then on the previous version of this underlying sort of support rail thingy, I didn't have this on here. I thought the magazine was just supposed to fit flush against the side of the gun, and well, it got a little bit technical, I guess, with Halo 3's theater mode. I went back and just studied the different animations, you know, the melee, and particularly the reloading animation, and saw this and realized, you know, I had completely overlooked a pretty important detail. So that's there now with the correct texturing under where the magazine is, and then I got the feed ramp with the red dot. Let's take a look at a sight picture. Oh yeah. And then of course the folding foregrip and the extendable stock. Trying to make sure I got the whole thing in view there. Oh yeah. Much better looking than ever before. So I can do this without smacking the tripod around. And notice all the texturing that was just totally absent on the old model. I'm at least starting to add on the back of the stock, on the grip, and then on the foregrip. I'm not totally happy with how the foregrip looks yet, so I may still come back and revise that in the future. And then there should also be some more texturing on the side of the stock here, which again I may still come back and add in the future. There's a few small details here and there that are still subject to future revision. So overall it's largely the same, and then proportionately I've made some tweaks. Notice the stock is all smooth. There's not a bunch of studs showing on the sides of the stock anymore. So I really like how that turned out. Because out of all the changes I've made, the stock is probably my favorite. Show you with the magazine off again. I'm trying to keep the full thing in view here. And then this grip, I was able to make very, very strong. I don't want to brag, but this can support the full weight of the model without any trouble whatsoever. Oh yeah, very, very strong. So maybe a little bit of shifting, a little bit of twisting front to back and side to side, but it's minuscule. It's hardly noticeable at all. It's definitely better than it was before. And then I put some spacer pieces behind where the trigger pivots so there's not as much daylight showing through the gaps here. And now finally I will now do, or at least attempt to do, what I did for my battle rifle years ago. So I will try to break this down and do a sort of, not really a tutorial at all, just an assembly video of all the different components and pieces and everything, and show you a little bit of the inside and just how exactly all of this works. And through the magic of editing, I will then have this disassembled and ready to go with a snap of my fingers. And I broke it. No, not really. I just disassembled it as carefully as I possibly could. I mean, you should have seen me just kind of delicately just smacking it on the edge of the counter to get it to fly apart into all these individual pieces, right? No, not really. All right. So now I will attempt to assemble this on camera where you can see. And I think I'll start with the grip. And you can see where the trigger guard clips into place. Hope that's in focus. And then these three Technic pins here will correspond with these three Technic bricks here. And that will snap into place like so. And next we have the trigger. Pretty much the same as on the previous version, except I'm using a shorter shock absorber in this because I find I get better spring tension and get a more positive snap to the trigger than I did with the previous just longer all black shock absorber I had before. So I find for my purposes this works a little bit better. That is going to go like so. And then this 1x1 brick here is where that axle goes. And that is how the trigger works. Now this next part's going to be a little bit tricky, I can tell already. I'm going to attempt to put this in place. I have the bolt with the pivoting handle so it can lock into place. And then I have the Technic bricks where the barrel is going to attach eventually. And I'm going to put this in place, or rather attempt to put this in place. Hopefully without smacking the tripod around, but also doing it where you can see it. If this is difficult to see, then I apologize. Yeah. I don't know if I like the looks of that, but whatever. And notice I'm not going to snap this place into piece yet. This piece, I'll learn to speak proper English one of these days. This can't snap into place just yet until the other side of the frame goes on. And notice the bolt is going to be sliding on the teeth of these hinge pieces here. So 2 on that side and 2 on this side. Just the very edges of the bolt are held up by this. I find that lets the bolt slide freely enough that it doesn't get stuck. And now I will attempt, ever so carefully attempt to snap this into place without dislodging this, hopefully. So line up all the axles and pins. Maybe if I slide the bolt back to where it's supposed to go. And I did exactly what I said I was going to try not to do. There, that should work. There we go. And I broke the bolt. Well, that was slightly embarrassing, but it's fixed now. I just accidentally snapped off some of the plates on top of the bolt, but now everything is as it should be. And notice this piece is now snapped into place. Maybe I should have done that on camera. Oh well. And now I can cycle the bolt, and it slides very freely on top of those corresponding hinge pieces on either side of the frame. Alright, and then this piece goes here, and that's where the stock will snap in place eventually. But we're not to that yet. So let's do the foregrip next. I have the 1x1 brick with a stud on either side. So these Technic bricks can go on like so. Notice this is very, very different from the foregrip I previously had. This is much stronger. And now you can see here, if I hold it on camera, you can see. So this plate right here is going to fit flush with the base of where the foregrip attaches right here. So now when the foregrip opens and unfolds, it opens to the correct angle and just freaking stops at the exact right angle. It can't over travel at all, unlike the foregrip I had on this previously. That would actually overextend and open past what I guess would be considered the correct angle. So yeah, as well as texturing and the little dark gray sort of accent on the end. Oops. It now opens to the exact right angle, just the same angle as the pistol grip here. And now this will snap into place. I'll do this where you can see it. It'll fit into place like so. I'll make sure I got it snapped on both sides. And now the trigger guard can be snapped into place. I'll try to do this where you can see it. There we go. And then I'll fold this up and save it for the end. Almost broke the bolt again. Alright, moving right along here. And I'll go ahead and show you the barrel. Got these 2x8 sort of roof tile pieces here. And then I have more of a 1x1 bricks with the studs on each side, like so. So they're just arranged in sort of, not really a circle, but I guess a square. So it's kind of an odd, square-shaped looking barrel. But proportionately, it's much better than the last one. This is the best I can do for the moment. And that will attach right there, like so. And there we have the barrel. Starting to look a little bit like the SMG, right? Maybe more so. I knew I said I was going to save that for the end. I lied. All right. Actually, I can't put those on yet. I almost did that in the wrong order. I'll switch sides again. So now I have the rail where the stock is eventually going to attach, and we'll get to that later. So that snaps in like so. And then we'll sort of finish off either side of the frame with more of these nice curving kind of arch bricks, which I think Lego has since discontinued. Urgh. It's not like those pieces came in handy at all, is it? No? Anyone? No? Okay. Whoops. And now I have the top rail where the sights will eventually go. In fact, this little plate here, if I can get that to focus, these angle plates will hold these on eventually. At least the top edge will be held on here, like so. Maybe if I attach that in the right spot, you would know what I meant. There we go. That's what's going on there. I'll get to that in just a second, though. I gotta be careful not to get too out of order here. I'll have to go back and do it all over again. And I don't want to do that. And this whole thing is going to go on like so. It's a little bit tricky to get in place. I'm going to set it down for this. Oops. Get a good look at my hairy arms here. My hairy, skinny Sasquatch arms. Alright. Well, I think I did that right. Everything seems to check out. Hope that was on camera where you could see it. If not, I apologize. Alright, and then we have pieces that will make either side of the rear sight here. Those are going to snap on like so. And then I have the pieces that made the front sight like I just showed you, which are basically just mirrored to each other. One there, and one there. Starting to look a little bit like the SMG, isn't it? And now that this top rail is in place, the bolt can be locked back, just like the bolt on an MP5 almost. Alright, and now I already think it's going to get a little bit tricky here, but I will show this all on camera as best as I can. Notice I have these grooved bricks here, and then these rail plates here. It's on either side. Oops. Maybe if I showed it on camera it would work better, right? And those are going to correspond to either side of the stock. There is a rail plate and it's going to go in this groove here. And then this rail plate fits in here. So they're kind of counter to each other, so there's no up or down wobble at all. And then this side of the stock has the Technic pin in it that will hold the stock in place at any of the three positions, either fully collapsed at the mid-length position or the fully extended position. So for now, let's go with the mid-length. That'll be the easiest to work with for putting all these parts on, I think. Again, I have the corresponding piece that will make the other side of the stock, like so. And I will hold this in place. And then this big chunk of plastic, you can see the smooth tiles where the bottom of this rail will be in just a second here. Yeah, this wasn't hard to design at all, right? Is going to snap on like so. And hopefully I'll do this without breaking it. And also do this where you can see it. That would be good, right? Alright. Then we have, this is purely cosmetic. Well, maybe this does help a little bit with the structure too. Helps keep the whole thing from flexing. We have more angle plates. One down here. If I can get it to focus. And another one sandwiched up in there somewhere. And that is going to slide in like so. Then again, I have more of these arch pieces and more smooth tiles that will make the top of the stock. Again, if any of this is at all difficult to see, I do apologize. Yeah, I think I did that right. Alright, and now the new studless, I guess, foot or toe of the stock, this would be called. And then these angle bricks will hold this in. Like so. That is starting to look more and more familiar, isn't it? Now I'll fully collapse this for just the maximum effect at the end of the video here. Alright, and now let's flip this over where you can see. We'll see that there are more angle bricks along this side here, underneath this little gray bar thing. Of what purpose, I still do not know. I know it's not an ejector port because this is called the M7 caseless submachine gun, meaning there's no casing for the ammo, for the bullets. So I know this isn't an ejector port, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I have this rail that the previous version lacked. Just snap onto there. And then I have the magazine's feed ramp with the 2 red dots. It's a really important kind of cosmetic feature, I guess, at least of the Halo 3 version of the SMG. Which this is what this is supposed to look like anyway. And then the magazine is really just a block with tiles on it. I haven't exactly figured out how to make the zigzag pattern that the SMG's magazine should have. So, again, subject for future revision, along with the texturing I was talking about earlier. And this is just going to be held on to these jumper plates, 2 here and 1 here. And that goes on like so. And I will switch sides again. And there we have the completed SMG. Pretty cool. And that, as they say, is that. That is my latest and greatest revision to the Halo 3 SMG. I've improved maybe not quite everything that I know to improve. I may still add the texturing on the stock and on the magazine like I was talking about. And when and if I do that, I will definitely be sure to make another video and show some of the changes I might make. So, as always, peace. And I hope to see you in the next video. Till next time.